Hi, it's Ryan from Fowler Photography, and in this video, we're going to be unpacking what's inside my camera bag for 2020. So let's get into it. Just before we jump into the bag, I just want to say that this video is brought to you by me. Yes, if you are looking for a couple of online courses to be able to download, use, and try and hone some of your skills during this time of isolation, check out the link in the description down below to find out more about the focal length blending e-course as well as the waterfall photographer's guide. They're both on sale now as well, so be quick to check them out. Let's start with one of the main things, and that is this tripod. It's the Siri W1204 waterproof series tripod with a K20 ball head. I've had this thing for several years. It's carbon fiber. It stands as tall as I do, which is about 6 foot. Inside of the legs, there are little weather seals or O-rings that you can hopefully see there. So that helps to avoid and stop water, sand, grit, all that sort of stuff getting into these legs, and it makes for a really good setup. The other thing I really like about this is this leg actually comes off and becomes a monopod, so you can take the head unit off and put it on the end of here. And I really like that because it has actually saved me in a few situations, and I've even used this. I took one leg off, used it as a monopod inside of the Natural History Museum in London when I was there a little while ago, and tripods aren't allowed in there. There's no rule against monopods, so that made for such a useful situation for this, balancing the camera and getting an absolutely amazing shot. So that's the tripod. It's about 1.4 kilos with a head. I think it's about 1.5, 1.6. But it's a very, very good tripod. I've had it forever. It's, yeah, just an absolutely solid piece of gear. So that's the tripod. Now let's have a look at the camera bag. This is the Low Pro M Trekker BP 150. Now I chose this because it's designed for mirrorless systems, and that's what the M stands for in M Trekker. And I looked at the BP Tahoe, which is one that's quite popular, but it's only half camera bag, half backpack. This one actually is a lot more than that. 2/3 camera bag, 1/3 backpack. So in the front here, and there's a few things that I'd like to see added onto this, but I'm gonna do a full review of this bag when I can, because it is a really, really good bag. It's just a few changes. So in here, we've got quite a few things. So this is the Small Rig multi-tool, which you would have seen in the Pro accessories video. A microfiber towel from Kathmandu. This is the DSLR battery bag, and if you've been watching my videos for a little while, or at least some of the recent ones, you'll have seen this featured in a couple of them, and that is absolutely brilliant. It basically just takes your camera accessories or batteries and just sorts them out for you. Pelican SD card case, really good little piece of gear. And what else? And of course, business cards. So that's all I've got in the front pouch. It's not really the biggest pouch in the world, but it certainly does do the trick for just storing these bits where they don't really have anywhere else to go. On this bag as well, you can see the tripod clips at the bottom. So rather than having the tripod sort of weighing you on one side, so when you're walking along, you're not sort of walking like this, it's all centered weight. That's so handy to have the tripod at the bottom, and then under here it's got a waterproof rain cover as well. For the external of the bag, apart from, or on the straps, I've always got the Peak Design Capture Clip V3, which is just so handy. That's been featured in a couple of videos as well. There will be more patches going on the front too, just FYI. Now, in the top, I keep, so this is the backpack section, but it actually holds a DJI Mavic 2 Pro perfectly with the remote controller. So apart from the remote, that's pretty standard. This is the DJI Mavic 2 Pro. This drone is probably the best folding drone I have used. I started with the original Mavic Pro, then I went to the Mavic Air because it was smaller and lighter, but the connection issues were just horrendous. So I ended up going to the Mavic 2 Pro, the 1-inch sensor, the image quality is so much better, and the battery life, everything. I really, really do love this drone. So that's what I usually fit in the top section. Now, there's no internal pockets or anything in here. That would be nice, but this is a really good space. Because the drone fits in here, I can take the drone with me if I need it. But some places, and the restrictions seem to be getting worse and worse. So some places just don't even allow drones, which means if I have this top section dedicated for the drone, I can take it out, leave it out, and fill this up with snacks or, you know, little bits and pieces that I need when traveling. Then let's open up from the back. And in here, this is what it looks like. In this top pouch, so in the back here, there's a little pocket. There's some paper things in there at the moment. That they say in the ad that it's designed for a tablet or something like an 11-inch MacBook Air or something like that. I have a 13-inch MacBook Pro with Touch Bar. It's the 2018 version, and I can actually fit that in here pretty comfortably. It's thin, it just fits across the slide section at the top. So this can take a thin 13-inch laptop. In the top, this is where I keep my audio bits and pieces. So this is a bag that came with the Rode Wireless Go, which is actually the microphone. That's the lapel. There's the little connection box. And in here, there's a little cable keeper, headphones, so I can use that on the Fuji X-T3. And that just sits in this little pouch. Now, just before I get into the rest of this stuff, I'm going to touch on cameras because I want to put one camera up above so I can get a bit more of a downward perspective. So, filming me right now is the Fujifilm X-T3 with the 10-24mm lens. It's an awesome combination. The cameras are great for stills, they're lightweight, they're portable, they're easy to take with you. You can basically, like if you had a pancake lens, you can chuck it on the front of the camera and it almost fits in your pocket. They are a really good system and really nice and compact. There are a few things that do bug me about them, but overall, for my use, both in travel and professional use, they do the job. So the Fujifilm X-T3 is what's filming right now. The other camera I have in here is the Fujifilm X-T2, and this has a 35mm f2 lens on it. So both of these cameras, great little units, very, very handy cameras. I might do a full review on them. I did write a blog post called Fujifilm X Series, is it good enough for professional photography? So I'll link that in one of the corners up above in the card, so be sure to click on that and give it a read. It's quite a big read, so grab a cup of coffee and just sit down and hopefully it's of benefit to you. So yes, Fujifilm X-T2 and Fujifilm X-T3. 10-24 is great for wide angle, and it's stabilized, so that's a nice feature. The 35 f2, it's a very good little lens, great little walk around lens. So if I'm walking around a city and I just want to take one camera, one lens, I'll usually take the X-T3 with the 35 f2, and it has captured some really amazing shots for me without needing to take a big lot of gear. So very good little combination for street photography, walking around, whatever it may be. Inside the rest of the bag, I have the Fujifilm 50-140. This is just an absolutely incredible lens. It's really sharp, very fast focusing, really good contrast. It just helps to produce a nice image with the camera. I don't have the foot on here at the moment because it doesn't really fit in this bag with the foot. Now, for a lot of my work and a lot of stuff, this is just an absolutely brilliant lens. It lives on my camera a lot of the time. So most shoots I will have maybe this on the X-T3 body and the 10-24, which is filming now, on the X-T2 body that's up the top. The f2.8 aperture, fast focus, all that sort of stuff, it just makes for a fantastic lens. Downside of this is, yes, it's heavy and it is quite large. So in actual respect, for a 70-200 equivalent f2.8, it's actually quite lightweight. It's 900 grams, but it's still quite a long lens, so it does sort of make it hard to somewhat fit inside of this bag. But it still does. It's a little bit dirty at the moment, but absolutely brilliant piece of glass. So if you're in the Fujifilm system and you want something nice, get this lens. I've used the 55-200, and this is the one that I'd recommend. 55-200 is good, but this is an absolute monster. If you've been watching the channel for a while or know me at all, you'll know I'm an Easy Filters user. These filters are brilliant. This is basically the full kit bag. I do also have a thinner bag that I take traveling if I only need a few filters, just to save a little bit of weight. So in here there's, I think, 9 or something different filters, but most of the time I don't need 9 filters. So if I'm traveling away for a few days, I'll usually take 3 or 4, depending on what I need for that type of situation or what situations I think I'd be in. And that usually does the trick for me. In here, these little pockets are usually where SD cards are meant to go. Low Pro bags sort of build in little SD card slots. But because I've got the Pelican SD card case, I don't need to use them for that. But these Rode microphones actually fit perfectly into this little slot. So I have a transceiver and receiver in these 2 little pockets, and it makes for just the perfect little storage solution. Last thing is, in this pocket I have an adapter ring for the Nissi system, the 100mm system. This is also a somewhat recent addition. This is the Nissi Switch filter holder, and it's a very, very inventive filter holder, at least. So it takes 2 filters, but what you can do is, say for example you had a grad filter in this front slot and you needed to adjust for, you know, some kind of specific angle. So normally you'd just turn the filter this way and you'd have a grad filter on a horizontal. But if you've still got light coming from another side, so say if you've got a building or a mountain or something like that, you can actually put another grad in, rotate this, so you've got one grad going that way and one grad going this way. And then it balances out a scene very, very nicely. And then you've got the little locking screw as well. So there will be a full review on this coming, just as soon as we're actually allowed to go outside and do it. So inside the camera bag, that's what I've got. Now, this isn't all the gear that I use for commercial work as well, because there are sort of other variants and things that I do attach onto the camera. So for the X-T2 and the X-T3, I've got battery grips and all that fun stuff. Last thing is this. Now, because neither the X-T3 or the X-T2 have built-in IBIS, and I have been doing a lot more videos for YouTube and you guys of late, I use this Siri gimbal. It's only a somewhat recent release, but it's designed for mirrorless cameras, and it takes the X-T3 with the 10-24 and the Rode video attachment or the Rode video micro, stuff like that. It takes all that and balances out really, really well. For a lightweight kit, this is actually a very good little gimbal, and pretty inexpensive as well. Now, do remember that everything in this video is linked in the description down below. I hope you've enjoyed that sort of unpacked look into my camera bag and what I use for travel. It's not being used so much for travel at the moment for obvious reasons, but eventually we will be able to travel again, and this is the kit that I will be traveling with. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, hit that thumbs up button, comment down below, subscribe with the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. See you in the next one.